In this video, I'm going to show you how to create the basic shape of cylinders. Now, a cylinder is kind of a combination of what we learned about circles and of squares. So remember, any circle that eventually curves in space will start to become an ellipse. And as it starts curving out, it'll start to become more and more circular. Now, as I look at a cylinder, if I look at it directly from the side, using that same logic, the tops and the bottoms might look completely flat, so it looks more like a square. But as I turn it, we can see that those tops and bottoms are actually curved, and that it becomes more cylindrical. The trick to a cylinder is to make sure that you keep the top and the bottom curved at the same directions. I'm gonna erase this a little bit. There we go. So that we can see which side is the front side and which side is the back side. And if I curve it a whole lot, it can get looking really circular, and I can even overlap. I'm going to draw down my paralleled sides, just like I would like how I work squares. And then I'm going to create this, create the paralleled bottom. And so we can see, there we go, we have a cylinder drawn from a variety of different angles. So one thing to make sure that you do is make sure that your sides come from the furthest edge of the cylinder. If I draw it from not the furthest edge, you can see how this looks like a pretty decent dumbbell, but it doesn't really look like a cylinder, not in the way that the other ones did. To help you understand this three-dimensional shape, it's also helpful to do ellipses all the way through, much like how we did when we were creating the sphere. And much like the cube, if I draw straight lines showing the paralleled edges, this can give a really nice three-dimensional feel. This can be helpful if I want to create some dimension in really curvy ones. So I'm going to start out with a front shape. I'm going to curve my edges, and much like the cube, I'm going to keep my curved edges parallel. And then keeping the front edge parallel to the back edge, I'm going to keep my ellipses about the same. And then kind of radiating through, I'm going to create a variety of ellipses, showing off that three-dimensional shape. And then I'm going to run my parallel stripes down the edges. And we can see that I created a very complex, but a very articulated three-dimensional shape that we're kind of looking into. I guess I could have drawn it on the backside, but that might get a little bit too complicated. So try out a variety of different shapes, some that can go from really wide down to really narrow, some that are really articulated, some that are a little bit more quick and loose. Try some small ones, some large ones, some bendy ones, and try to come up with a variety of interesting cylinders. So I'm going to speed up the video here, and I'm going to give you some time to work. And there we go, a bunch of basic shapes of cylinders. Remember, while you're drawing, stay nice and loose, Draw from your elbow, not your wrist, and try to do longer strokes rather than doing a bunch of teeny tiny strokes.